This is such an intense and thrilling film for all of you. Melanie, what was it about Eva or even about the script that drew you to be a part of the movie?
I read it and I was like, wow, this is a really quick read, really lean read. And I really love that it felt very dimensional. It was a heist, but it was also, a story about like these people who are desperate, um, revenge and also wanting to right wrong. And it was also funny. And I just love that Eva was the smartest one of the bunch. She was the most tenacious. I love how like violent and rageful she was. I think that's important to see more women like that on screen. And I met with Cutter, and I just thought he was a really nice person who had a real vision, and I liked his background, and I was like, oh, this would be a really interesting match with him in this world. So,
Well, I asked Cutter how far Billy's willing to go for his family, and he said pretty far. I think there might be no limits as to how far.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think having access to the Bitcoin that he does at the beginning of the film gives them this kind of level. It's like a seduction um, that he goes through where he's exposed to like a level of income that he probably never has been in his life. And when he sees all of that gone in seconds, the anger and rage and sort of sense of wanting to seek justice is probably unmatched to anything he's ever been through in his life, and it stirs up all these, I think, historic and intense feelings in him. That kind of, yeah, I think I agree with Cutter. There's little he wouldn't do because it's like just this level of he's just been put down and for so long, and he's sick of it, and he saw there was like a glimmer of hope for a way out of it, and then it got taken away from him, and there's just like a level of disrespect um, that is really raw and real and uh, uh, blinds him, I think, ultimately.
Melanie, Josh told me that Charles picks Eva as sort of someone to go tête-à-tête with because she's the most formidable for him. He feels like the others he can manipulate easily, but she's on his length, his brainwave level because she's smart and he feels like she's a formidable person to go against. Is that what you saw between the two of them as to why Charles feels like he can sort of manipulate her into maybe getting him out of this?
yeah, I mean, even during that scene, I think that that was a more interesting scene to play because I think she knows that he's intelligent as well, and that she can't easily kind of manipulate him and use her, wizardry against him to get what she wants. And I think that there's a little bit of a cat and mouse thing during that scene, and they probably feel the same way about each other.
Well, I think my favorite scene though is the one where you're in the house and you're showing your daughter around and it's got heartbreaking moments, the whole thing, because it's heartbreaking for his family and it's heartbreaking knowing for him he might not get out of this to show her this better
Mhm.
life. Is that a more difficult scene for you to film, or is there a particular scene that's a favorite for you that of the work you put into?
But that was a fun scene to shoot because there was so much going. I mean, it was a tricky scene to shoot because I couldn't have the young actress playing my daughter on the actual telephone screen. That had to be added in post. So I'm essentially playing opposite. I asked Paige, our PA, remember Melanie, our young PA, who was
Oh
because
yeah.
the first time someone read it, I think it was maybe the AD, and it was a guy. And I was like, can I have like at least I want to hear like a sweet young woman's voice, or that at least closely match like
Yeah.
the daughter and the character, and then we had found that I think I'm wearing the that that mink coat or whatever, and like Billy's he's like kind of in the middle. Yeah, there's a lot going on at that point in the script, and so that was a really fun one to build because there was a physical challenges, but then there was also this great story points and that I felt very universal to me. Like I feel like I'm not a parent myself, but I have enough kids in my life and watching my parents go through their journey and really struggle to provide and being put in kind of these desperate situations. I felt that scene it was beautiful. I felt that scene was emblematic of, the film is really funny and then it gets really dark, but if it doesn't have a heart in it, then it's, I don't, I guess it's just a testament to the writing that it is motivated by, these real, uh, uh, human needs. And I found that uh, I was able to connect with that in Billy's journey.
Melanie, is there a particular scene that you're most proud of the work you put into? I love the scene where you guys first all meet too, and you're in this Chinese restaurant sort of plotting it out too.
You know what? That scene was, it was like one of the first scenes we did,
Yeah,
right?
I think you're right.
And I remember on the day, like I had memorized it, and then they were doing some revisions of like those really hard technical terms to make sure that, people who watch the movie could understand it. Um, and I'm proud of that scene because I felt like, oh, I was, you know, thinking on my toes in terms of like trying to make sense of the words and like meeting these guys and like working with them and like I felt like I tried my best and I did an okay job in that scene.
Well, for all of you, this was such an intense movie. How did you all shake off a long day of being on set?
I think there was, really effortless camaraderie with this cast, especially with the four of us, with Melanie, with Tony Cavallero, with Josh Brenner. They put us up. There's not like there's not a lot of terrible amount of housing in the Berkshires, or I should say, there's limited housing, and so they put us up in this really quaint, cute little Airbnb, which is awesome. And so we all shared a kitchen, and we'd see each other in the morning, and we were all going to like the same gym together. Tony got an owner of a local gym to like give us memberships while we were there, and like so we were there was really good vibes off set as there were on set. So I think that really helped. I think because like Melanie I think mentioned earlier that it was like it was very like-minded people working on the film. We were all excited about the script. We were excited about our characters. We had great material to work with, and we all kind of what Melanie was saying about Cutter earlier about how he leads with a sort of kindness, and I think that sort of set the tone, and I felt like we were, all on the same page in that respect. And I think when you're working on material that's this dark and gets this kind of, violent and extreme, for me, it helps when you're working with people who are looking out for you. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Melanie, this
And
is
also like he's really funny. I mean, Josh is really fun. Like we're like everybody's really witty and funny. And so
Mhm.
even though it was like tense, like I had a great time.
Yeah,
Like it was a great time.
a,
totally.
this is a dark movie, but it's also got those light moments, those heartfelt moments. But it's certainly a thrill ride through and through. Is that what you think is going to make this such a fascinating watch for so many? It's got different complexities to it.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be an interesting ride. It's like it's messy, it's there's no equation of how it's gonna go, and I think people are just gonna and hopefully enjoy it.